Hi, this is Books with Brushu. I'm Jordan. I like to drink coffee and read books. I'm finally filming this intro in the morning, so I've got some coffee, actually. So that's nice. I am here to start a new fun reading vlog, and that is reading Greek books. And the reason I am doing this video is because in a week, me and my family are going to Greece. And I am super freaking excited about it. I am so excited about it. I decided to do a little preemptive reading, read about some Greek gods. I've got a couple books in line for this video. Actually, let me grab the second one. Duh. I've got a couple of Greek themed books lined up for this video that I'm super excited to read, that I've been holding on to and am now finally getting the chance to read them. There will also be some clips inserted of some of the things that we do in Greece. We're going to be there for 2 weeks. And by the time you're seeing this video, I'm back. I've been back for a while. Just how scheduling was for videos, I am starting this a little bit early just so I can make sure that I get through these books. The first book for this reading vlog is The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen. And yes, I have already started this. I started this 2 or 3 days ago, and guys, I read over 200 pages of it yesterday. It was an accident. I just couldn't put it down. I just couldn't put it down. So I read through a lot of it before I even started this vlog, and I didn't mean to. But that's just how it worked. The Games Gods Play. Then I do want to get into The Things Gods Break, which is the second book of this trilogy. The third book in the trilogy comes out later this year, I think in like November maybe. These have sprayed edges. Here, let me. I read my hardbacks with covers, so they've got the sprayed edges, and they've got end page art, which is super fun. See most of it there. And then in the second book, we've got this here. I am excited to read these. So these are fantasy with the Greek gods. We're gonna get into a romance with Under the Greek Sky. This is a romance book that I found when I Googled Greek books. Greek books to read. It is on Kindle Unlimited, and it's the read and listen, so you can follow, you can immersive read it with Kindle Unlimited. Words, Jordan, words. Under a Greek Sky is by Francesca Catlow. It has 4-star rating on Goodreads. When her happily ever after is shattered by a fiance who disappears along with her life savings, Lorena desperately needs a new start. Then her seemingly perfect parents separate, and her mother decides to return to Corfu, the island of her birth, to renovate a family beach house. Lorena goes too, keen for a chance to shut the world out for a while. The sun-soaked island with its stunning beaches and glittering sea is just the distraction Lorena needs. As long-held family secrets start to emerge, clouds gather over their Greek island paradise. Why has Lorena's mother always refused to return to Corfu until now? What secrets of his own is Christos keeping? When her father reappears on the scene, all hope of peace seems lost. Is Lorena about to watch her happily ever after implode, or can she learn from the past and open herself up to a new future? So it kind of gives me like Under the Tuscan Sun vibes, which I love that movie. So those are the 3 books that I will be reading during this vlog. And yes, I did start The Games Gods Play. I'm already 320 pages into it. I started off yesterday and I was barely 100 pages in, and now I'm 320 pages. I've read this, have not read this, because I just couldn't put it down yesterday. And I've got the audiobook on Libby, so I'm immersively reading it, so that helps me to read faster, because I listen at 1.8 times speed, which is faster than I can physically read. I'm getting through the book faster than I normally would if I was only reading it, but I'm really loving it, you guys. I'm really, really loving it. So we are introduced to our main female character, Lyra Kiraz, and she is a thief. When she was 3 years old, her parents gave her up to the Order of Thieves to pay off a debt. When she was a baby, she was cursed by Zeus. Her parents, while her mom was pregnant, had gone to Zeus's temple to pray, and her mother ended up, or the water broke in Zeus's temple, and because she had desecrated Zeus's temple, Zeus came and cursed the baby. The curse was that no one could ever love her or care about her. So her parents gave her up when she was 3 because they, one, didn't really love her because she's, quote, unlovable because of this curse, and to maybe pay off a debt. She was 3 years old, so it's only things that she has ever been told by the Order of the Thieves. She's living with that curse. She has no close friends. She's in her early 20s. She has never experienced love. She paid off her family's debt years ago, but stuck around because she had nowhere else to go. So one night, there's like a huge celebration, and it's the start of the Crucible, which is the games the gods put on every 100 years. And since the gods have vowed that they won't fight against each other ever again because of the past war, that every 100 years, each god will choose a human competitor, and whichever competitor wins, that is the god that then becomes the king of the gods. That's what we're in right now, is the Crucible. So that night, on the start of the Crucible, where the gods all choose their champions, Lyra gets pissed off about something that happened with the thieves, and she's like, you know what? I hate Zeus for cursing me. I'm gonna go get his attention. Well, she stomps over to his temple and is about to like start throwing rocks at the walls or something to try to get his attention, to like desecrate his temple. And who comes up behind her and grabs her arm and stops her? But the king of the underworld himself, Hades. Things ensue. Hades chooses Lyra as his champion. The Crucible starts, the labors begin, and we've got a bunch of different tasks and competitions and trials, all these different trials, and some sparks are flying. And we've got a little jealousy going on too. Oh guys, it's good. It is so good. So right now I think we're on the 7th or 8th labor, which the labors are the individual trials. We're plowing through. Lyra is definitely independent and has a mind of her own, makes rash decisions, and they mostly turn out in her favor in the end. I'm really loving this book. I'm liking the trials. They're definitely interesting. I'm feeling this slow burn because it's a slow burn. I mean, we're, you know, well, we're into the 300 page mark. We're past the 300 page mark and nothing like definitive has happened. So it's definitely a slow burn, but I'm really liking this book. I'm going to continue reading this, and I'm hoping to finish this before I leave. I've got a little less than a week. So I'm hoping to finish this before I leave and at least start The Things Gods Break. It is on Kindle Unlimited, so I was able to put it on my Kindle. So that's good. I won't be bringing a book this big, a hardcover, on vacation with me. That's just silly. I'm not gonna have room in my bag for that. So, and I'm not gonna leave it there. I've downloaded it onto my Kindle. I've got it ready to go. Under the Greek Sky is already on my Kindle. We've got it on lock. I will check back in once I have more of an update on this book. All right, guys, we're here on a very early Monday morning. I am back from my vacation. It has been a while since I've checked in. I've been awake since 2:30 this morning because my clock is still messed up. So I've been awake for a while. It is now 8:30 a.m. I am starting to get tired and I need to keep myself awake. And unfortunately, I did not update this vlog like I should have. Now, I did not bring my camera with me on vacation on purpose. I knew I was only going to be filming some short clips on my phone, just of like me reading on the plane and at the ocean and, you know, traveling and stuff like that. But I thought I updated on the games gods play before I left, and I did not, even though I finished this book before I left. So I don't know what was going through my mind, if I was just busy or what, but I didn't update before I left on this book. So I have a lot to update you guys on. Let's get this started. I obviously finished the Games Gods Play, and I finished it before I left. I absolutely loved this book. It was great. We have our main female character, Lyra, and Hades. She is Hades' champion in the Crucible, and she competes in all of these labors or trials. Slowly along the way, her and Hades develop a relationship. There are some unknown things that are going on, especially with Hades and the whole Olympian world that we just don't know yet, because the main focus of this book is the Crucible and the labors that are going on, because Lyra is trying to win so that Hades can become the king of the gods, because he is trying to free Persephone from Tartarus. And apparently the only way to do that is for him to become the king of the gods, and we don't know exactly why that is until the very end of the book, and we do find out why at the end of the book. This book does leave off on a huge cliffhanger, which I'm glad I was able to then pick up the second book right away, because I already had it. I loved this book. I loved how it ended. I loved all the labors and all the trial aspects and the relationship between Lyra and Hades. Like, I cannot get enough of Hades. Like, oh my gosh. Totally love him. I ended up giving the Games Gods Play 4.25 stars. So highly recommend. Prior to starting this book, I had heard some mixed feelings on this book on BookTube, and this is just proof that if you think you're going to enjoy a book, read it for yourself and determine that, like, make that decision on your own, because you can't always just base your own enjoyment of a book based on other people's opinions and ratings. So I had heard mixed feelings about this book from BookTube, and I absolutely loved it and think it's so worth it, and was so happy that I picked it up and glad that I could jump right into the second book. So, you know, take that for what you will. But then I did go ahead and pick up The Things Gods Break right away, because it left off on a cliffhanger, and I had to know what happened. I had to know what happened to Lyra and what was going on and how they were going to solve this. So I'm not going to talk too terribly much about it, because I don't want to give away the ending of the first book, the things that we find out in the second book. Now, we are introduced to a whole new world in this book. There are a lot of twists and turns that happen, a lot of things that Lyra has to go through. Now, there are more trials in this book. If you didn't get enough of the trials in the first book, you get more trials in the second book, and you meet a lot more new people. There are just a lot of things going on. There are a lot of things going on, and a lot of things that still have to be solved in the last book, honestly. This book left off on a cliffhanger, but not as big of a cliffhanger as the first book. So thankful for that, since the third book does not come out until the end of November. So I am eagerly awaiting that book. So obviously I enjoyed this. I will insert a few clips of me reading this book while I was in Greece on vacation, thoroughly enjoying it, and I did finish this book while I was on vacation. So I hope you enjoyed those clips of me reading on the plane. I did finish The Things Gods Break while I was in Greece. Thoroughly enjoyed it. On the nights where I couldn't sleep, which was the first few nights for sure, because we were still dealing with the time change and all of that, I was definitely up late reading. I gave The Things Gods Break 4 stars. So I didn't enjoy it quite as much as the first book, just because of, I don't want to give it away. I didn't enjoy it quite as much as the first book, but I am eagerly awaiting the third book and can't wait for that one. Before we get into Under a Greek Sky, here are a few clips of me reading that book in Santorini and Paros. Όλες οι ηλεκτρονικές συσκευές θα πρέπει να παραμείνουν
πληρωμένες. Dear passengers, we're now approaching Santorini Airport for landing.
This is a romance, or sort of a romance, contemporary fiction-esque book. If you've seen the movie Under the Tuscan Sun, this has kind of sort of the same vibe. This book is on Kindle Unlimited, and it also is read and listen. So you can, if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can read the book on your Kindle and also listen to the audiobook. So that is what I did. We are introduced to our main female character, Lorena, and in literally the first chapter, we find out that her fiance has taken all of her money, taken all of the possessions in their house that are worth anything, has disappeared, and left with only he left her a letter, and that was it. And the letter said, "I'm really sorry, I had to pay off these gambling debts. I didn't want anyone to come after you. I was trying to protect you. I love you. Please forgive me." And she's like, what the fuck? She had literally just quit her job as a cosmetic scientist to create her own cosmetic line because she had been saving for years and years and years to do this. She had just quit her job, and then her fiance stole all her money. So now one, has no job, and two, is broke. So she's freaking out. And then she receives a call from her mother saying that her dad has disappeared to Mexico with some lady that he's been cheating with, and that her parents are getting a divorce. The mom, who is Greek, is going back to the Greek island of Corfu, where she is from. Lorena, her sister, and her mother all leave England and go to Corfu, to the island where her mom grew up. Lorena and her sister find out that their mom has basically been lying to them their entire lives. That their grandparents had not actually been dead their whole lives. They only died a couple of years ago. So they missed out on the chance of knowing their grandparents. They actually have an uncle. Their mom has a brother that they didn't know about, and that they also have cousins that they never knew existed. So Lorena is put through the ringer. She feels like, well, she doesn't feel like, but it is the actual truth, that everyone in her life has been lying to her. And she feels like she can't trust anybody, and rightfully so, because literally everyone in her life has been lying to her. Her fiance was lying to her mother's been lying to her whole life, and their father has been lying to them because he's been a cheater literally the whole marriage and their whole childhood. So she feels like her whole life has been a lie. They go to Corfu. Apparently her grandparents owned this beach house that was left to their mother when the grandparents died, and it is in disrepair. So in that sense, it's very much like Under the Tuscan Sun, where her husband leaves and takes all the money and whatever. And so she goes to Italy and fixes up this rundown house while they're in Corfu, and they are trying to fix up this rundown beach house. Right away, Lorena and her sister, I can't remember the sister's name, are introduced to the uncle and the uncle's wife, and are trying to get to know them. And also they're introduced to Christos, who helps out on their uncle's olive tree farm. So the uncle owns an olive tree grove farm, whatever, and harvests the olives and makes olive oil. They also do tours, so people come in and tour the olive grove. Christos, he helps run the tours and helps run the grove, orchard, farm, whatever the heck it is. Him and Lorena find that they are around each other quite often. Something happened in Christos's past where he feels like he doesn't deserve love, he doesn't deserve to be happy in his life, and he basically is making himself miserable on purpose. Lorena feels like she can't trust anybody and never wants to be in a relationship again because she feels like she can't trust anybody in her life. Throughout this entire story, there are encounters between Lorena and Christos. There are more secrets kept between Lorena and her mother and her sister, so they are continuously battling each other and continuously having arguments because of all of the secrets that have been kept in the past and that are being kept in the present. So there's a lot of self-discovery, a lot of building back up relationships, learning to trust people again, and like a lot of back and forth between Lorena, her sister, and her mother. The father ends up coming back and, you know, trying to figure out the history of their parents and why they were keeping so many secrets and like what happened and blah, blah, blah. It's not just a regular romance. It's not simply a romance. It's a lot of finding out about all the lies that have been kept, asking questions about the past, trying to get answers, people evading, oh, well, that's not my story to tell. You should ask your mother. That's not my story to tell. I'm not ready to tell the story. I don't want blah, 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 blah. In the end, the book was fine. The book was fine. I didn't not enjoy it. I thought it was fine. It was just a little drug out and a little repetitive with the whole Lorena's asking questions. People are getting mad at her for asking questions. Also, then people saying, well, those aren't my questions to answer. With how much people had been lying to her in her life, I felt like she had every right to ask the questions that she was asking. She wanted some answers because it wasn't just their lives that were affected. It was her life that was affected too. And these people that she was asking questions of were like, you have no right to ask these questions. Why are you being so curious? You need to stop asking questions, blah, blah, blah. And I just didn't feel like that was the right approach from these people at all. Heaven forbid somebody that has been lied to their whole life try to figure out what that actual truth is and what's going on, you know? So I just didn't love that approach to it. And it took the entire book for any answers to get made, for any answers to be had. It took the entire book for Lorena and Christos to develop their relationship. It was so like back and forth and we're not in love. I don't ever want to love anybody again. I'm afraid of commitment, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden at the very end of the book, it was like, okay, I love you. We're going to be together and all our issues are solved. So I just didn't love how it ended. It was just okay. It was just an okay book for me. But you know what? It was a beach read. It was a quick read and it was set in Greece, which was the whole point of this vlog. I ended up giving Under a Greek Sky 3.5 stars. So not a bad rating at all, still well over 50%. It just wasn't my favorite and there were some parts that frustrated me. I also got a few Greek books while we were in Athens. So one of our tour guide guys recommended this bookstore that was pretty close to our Airbnb and I picked up a few books that I'm super excited about. So I got Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, and it's in this really cool version. Obviously it's in Greek with pink sprayed edges, and I get different versions of Harry Potter in the places that I visit, so obviously I had to get the Greek version. Me and my sister saw these versions of Fourth Wing and obviously had to get them. I've never seen these versions before. I didn't know that there were like special Greek editions I mean, of Fourth Wing. So this is Fourth Wing. Like, look how awesome this is. With these freaking sprayed edges. Like, okay, come on. I haven't never seen this before. So obviously had to get that. And it comes with a freaking map, like a whole giant fold out, like poster map. Like, How awesome is this? Like full color map. Okay, so not only is there this, but then there's foiling on the hardcover of the parapet. So obviously, right? And then the end pages, so freaking cool. The reverse dust jacket is the original cover. Like, so fucking cool. Also, Iron Flame. They unfortunately did not have a special edition of Onyx Storm, so I only got Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, but then you have Xaden and Scale. Like, so cool. And here are the sprayed edges on this one. Like, so freaking awesome. And this one also comes with a freaking fold out map, and it's in different colors than the first one. So it's just so awesome. The naked hardcover has more foiling, which is so fun. And then this time you have Scale instead of Tarn. And then also the reverse dust jacket is the original cover. We were just so shocked when we saw these editions, because even me being a book nerd and like on booktube all the time, I didn't even know that these editions were a thing. And definitely had to grab these. So excited we found these. My bag was really heavy. I had to put one of them in my backpack so that I, you know, was under my weight, which I was barely under my weight. I was at 22.8 kilos. Those are the books that I got while I was in Greece. Super, super excited to have those. And I can't wait because I still haven't painted those freaking bookshelves. They're still sitting in my garage, have not touched them. So I can't wait to paint those so I can put some books away. Like, geez. That brings us to the end of this vlog. It's probably going to be kind of a short vlog, and that's my own fault because I didn't do all of the updates like I should have. That's how it worked out. When you're on vacation, you just want to enjoy it, and I just didn't want to constantly have to update and everything. So I hope you enjoyed the videos of the beach and the sights that we saw and all of that, because we did have a really great time in Greece. We really enjoyed ourselves, and I had a great time with my family and friends and all of that. So I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.